just down the street from the shop because we don't want to take this truck very far. Only got 4,383 miles on it. I'm working with Willwood specifically to try to get a master cylinder that is engineered for this multi-piston caliper to try and improve the braking even more so. Get that pedal feel the way you want. Welcome back to the vlog. Paul Sanderson here from Predator Motorsports. We are just down the street from the shop because we don't want to take this truck very far. Only got 4,383 miles on it. Today's gonna be somewhat of a unique vlog, talking again about some of the things we did, but also just talking about the iconic level that this truck brings. You know, if you're a truist, you love the Alpha, this is it. If you're a Humvee guy, you look at the Alpha as that kind of that sought after unit. Second truck we've done for this customer, the first one was a black Alpha. He had low miles in that too. If I remember rightly, maybe 11,000 miles. Going into the few elements that we did to the truck would be a big brake upgrade. We have the Willwood brakes under here, multi-size pistons on that, an incredible stopping improvement over the standard 12-inch brakes that are on that. I'm working with Willwood specifically to try to get a master cylinder that is engineered for this multi-piston caliper to try and improve the braking even more so. Get that pedal feel the way you want it and further dial in this system. We also added the floor camera. That is piped into an oversized Alpine monitor. Sits in nicely, I think it's like a 7.5. We also picked up where AM General kind of bunted. We did the clear lens turn signals as well as the clear above the windshield. We went ahead and put the Predator light bar on there, relocated his single row rigid light up top so we can keep that performance and function that he liked from the original outfitting. Coming down the side, we have our heavy duty rocker panel protection. This is a full plate underneath the body. I've beaten this down many times in discussions on these trucks because of the side impact we get from this. Not only on the off-road side of it, because now we have 3/16 plate steel under the body of the vehicle. You set it down on a rock, you're just gonna slide right off it. Whereas the factory ones are aluminum and you can get hung up on that. The side impact here, I feel, is really what drives it home as a need for a vehicle. Can deny that some of the people driving now are more focused on their phones than they are on what's going on. So not to bring in negativity to it, but side impact and side impact protection is needed nowadays, just as much as, say, a brush guard. You know, this one still has the factory one. Might get into a D-ring brush guard eventually just to take it to that next level. He does have already a 4-point camera. It's a camera underneath each mirror, camera in the front and camera in the rear, as well as what we're going to get into in the back, where we did a full bed coating on the rear of that truck, getting away from the tonneau cover and the painted surface on those fender wells, which eventually does take a beating in the sun. So I touched on it briefly earlier about how an H1 owner may want to get the Alpha, or a Humvee owner might look at it as this is the pristine, the one-off, the best of the best that AM General produced. But you might not be familiar with what makes an Alpha what it is. Just a short history going into it. In 2004, AM General released their last model with the 6.5. They did an engine upgrade that was kind of a wash, but they did release the Alpha interior. They closed down doors tail end of 2004 and didn't release one unit throughout all of 2005. And that's when they worked on all the ins and outs, and all the engineering, and all the benefits that this unit has throughout that whole year, finally releasing this in the 2006 generation. So this has the Duramax, this has the Allison. They did use an LLY Duramax, and they had a 5-speed Allison. In the 2006 generation of the Chevy GM product, it was an LBZ and a 6-speed. So some of the other features outside that all-important Allison and Duramax powertrain that the Alpha came with are the 12-inch brakes, 12K half shafts. Both there to add ample stopping power to the Alpha with its upgraded powertrain. And also the half shafts are there to add support for that torque that is now coming out. So we duplicate both of those with most of our conversions, getting that 12K half shaft and those 12-inch brakes on our Duramax equipped trucks. A few other elements that was engineered into this platform that we don't often add to the standard H1 conversion or Humvee conversion would be the geared fan drive and the helical cut gears in the geared hubs. Fortunate enough for some of you guys that are buying the Humvee in the surplus market, the M11 series, a lot of those come with all of the above, minus the Duramax, of course. But you'll get the helical cut, you'll get the 12Ks, you get the 12-inch brakes, as well as the geared fan drive in there. So very fortunate if you get yourself a hands on one of those, because you're that bit closer to this unit here. Another thing that they released in the 2006 model is this color. Flaming red pearl, I believe it's considered. Only 57 of the soft tops were released in that color. It makes this one even more unique because it is the one-off color, only released in 2006. And as you can tell with this nice pale backdrop, the color just pops. The customer entrusted in us, not only his first truck, but the second truck, this one here, to go ahead and paint the bed of the vehicle. Adding more black to this thing really makes that red, sharp paint pop that even more. So we'll get around and take a look at that here shortly, as well as get inside to see really what made that Alpha such a hit with everyone, with the interior and the layout that it has. I keep mentioning this paint, I keep mentioning the low miles of it. If this step back, you look at this, this thing is pristine. I'm honored that he feels that Predator steps up to the plate enough to where he can entrust us in his second Alpha in similar condition. I do feel this one takes the center stage over his last unit. We could throw this thing in the Peterson Museum and it would feel fit in its home there, showing off the grandeur of that 2006 model. It definitely looks showroom quality. Looking at some of the seats, look like they've never even been sat in. So yeah, I'm excited to show you the interior, just again to truly drive home how new and fresh this 2006 is. Touched on this briefly earlier. Customers sent us this truck, do the add-ons that we talked about up in the front, but also entrusted in us in coating his bed and fender wells with our texture bed liner coating. I think it's twofold. Now you've got a utilitarian space in the back. You're not worrying about harming that 1 of 57 color, new color for the 06 Alpha. And also you have more black added to the truck, so it makes that red really pop. This one is actually a Gen 2. Gen 1 was a brown and black. This is a black with a gray piping. I'm somewhat partial to the Gen 2 that this truck has. So again, hitting it out of the park. You're one of my favorite soft top Alphas I've ever worked with. Welcome to the interior of the 06 Alpha. One thing I somehow neglected to mention on the outside was the gearbox upgrade. They went to a Shepherd gearbox, which I feel is a very, very valid upgrade when you start after doing some aftermarket additions to the H1 platform. Oversized tires, wheel package. The original gearbox is somewhat underpowered, and the Shepherd is hands down a great upgrade from that. They also have from factory a Momo style steering wheel. I believe it is Momo. It's just been branded by AM General with their horn button there. And the horn is actually in the right spot. It is in the center of the wheel. A little known fact, all the other models, the horn is in the turn signal stick combo switch there, which controls your cruise control, turn signals, and horn on the 2004 and older model, 06 being in the center of the wheel where most typical vehicles are. They also changed the shifter. If you're familiar with the H1, the inboard shifter would be your transmission, outboard would be the transfer case. So this has got a little bit more of that typical vehicle feel, and I think that's what AM General was shooting for in that 2004, then into this 2006 with the dash retrofit. You very seldom see one in the condition that this is. This is insane at how clean it is. It has had a few upgrades. We've got some forward-looking rear security style cameras that are recording that. We have an inverter in here, so he's added a plug point there. But it's very tasteful upgrades, not taking away from the fact that this is a 4,000 mile truck, 17 years old. I can't beat that up enough. This thing is just beyond impressive on how the customer has preserved it and kept it in this pristine condition, and then entrusted in us on taking it to the next level with a few of the add-ons that you've seen today. So with AM General's decision to re-engineer the seats, I personally feel it's because they probably got some bad feedback on the blind spots you get out of some of the older models, but they shortened the seat dramatically. So that's the one thing I will push back on AM General, making this the best of the best. They took away when they did the short seat version. That comes to almost the middle of my shoulders. So not the best fit for me. As you might be able to pick up on the screen there, that is quite small. It's, be that as it may, you gotta love the Alpha, what they did. I do like the design that they came out with the seat. The original seat was very lackluster. Not much thought was brought into that. I think whoever engineered this took that civilian approach, modded it to the military approach to the vehicles. So I've used this design in this seat in many other builds. You'll see it in conversions and some of our vlogs from before. I'm sure you'll see it for years to come because it is iconic in that that is the Alpha seat stitch pattern. The center seat, however, is not the factory Alpha seat. We can recreate that, but you'd need that gray piping on the side to make it true. And then also the same paneling goes into these seats for it to be a true Alpha. The 6 speakers throughout with the integrated overhead 4 speakers on this soft top make for a great sound system in here. Particular customer has a downfire sub under each of the rear seats, which just adds to that full sound that you want to get. This thing is just ready to roll. Top on, top off. This thing is a versatile tool to put on 8,000 miles, or at least 4,000 more miles, and have some fun with it, be as you may. Thanks for watching, guys. Getting through the whole vlog, all about this Alpha, the pristine, the ultimate 4,000 mile 2006 Alpha. It's been a pleasure for me to share it with you. Hope you liked it. Give me some comments, hit that notification, the bell, and the subscription button if you haven't yet, because you're missing out. We got more vlogs coming. Thank you. Take care. What are you doing? Huh. I'm in the Tesla parking lot. Sound check. Why are you really filming that shit? What? No way.